So, massive amount of gaseous exchange takes place between these pores for the purpose of photosynthesis. But students, it is also important to note that the gaseous exchange also takes place through the stems, through the roots, through the branches and through the leaves. So, what do the stomata usually do? The stomata closes its pores when it does not need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. So this opening and closing of pores is the function of guard cells. So the leaf contains small tiny pores which is called as what? Stomata. So if you observe a section of leaf, you will understand what all things are present. That is, a cell contains small tiny pores. Then the cells are surrounded by some jelly-like structure. The cell contains some jelly-like structure that is nothing but what? Chloroplast. And there is a distinct body present in the center of the cell which is called as what? Nucleus. So, the jelly-like substance is again surrounded by some cell membrane or plasma membrane. They also act as a guard cells. So, these guard cells, they help the stomatal pore to open and close. So this opening and closing of the pores of stomata is nothing but what? It is a primary function of guard cells. So students, when water is passed into the guard cell, it swells up. The guard cell swells and it causes the stomatal pore to open. When it opens, the water is passed outside the cell, and again the stomatal pore is closed, which allows the cell to shrink back. So this is the way through which the water molecules or the carbon or the gases are exchanged between the internal environment of the cell and the outer environment of the cell. So children, are you clear about how the chlorophyll is important, how the light energy is important, and how the carbon dioxide and water molecule, all those components are important for the plants to prepare their own food. So autotrophs, they fulfill their energy requirement in this manner. But we have already seen that apart from glucose, apart from starch, plants also need the other substances for their proper growth, for their maintenance, for their repairance. That is proteins, fats, lipids, amino acids, some other minerals. So all this has to be fulfilled by the plants to grow. So children, how do the plants get proteins? How do the plants prepare proteins in their bodies? So in your class 7, you have already studied that protein is a nitrogenous substance. Protein contains nitrogen, and you have studied that nitrogen is present in abundant in the environment, in the air. That is, 78% of the gases contain what? Nitrogen. But plants cannot absorb nitrogen from the air. So how do they get nitrogen? Yes, so they get nitrogen from the soil. Means there are some bacteria present in the soil which converts the nitrogenous gases into something soluble form. So this soluble form is absorbed by the roots, it is passed to the stems, then to the branches, and finally to the leaves. In this manner, they absorb the nitrogenous gas which produces proteins in the plant body. In similar way, the other substances like phosphorus, iron, magnesium, these all raw materials, they are taking it from the soil. So children, did you understand that how the other substances are taken by the plants, how the fulfillment of nutrient is possible in the plants? So this all requirement is fulfilled by the plants in various manners, and those process does not takes place one after the other immediately. It is a very lengthy process, and it has, that is the food making process, nothing but photosynthesis is the ultimate process which is only present in the plant body, which is only present in the autotrophs. So, if you are clear about the autotrophic mode of nutrition and how the plants prepare their own food, we are going to learn about the heterotrophic mode of nutrition in our next class. So children, go through this video, and if any doubt, you can ask me in the WhatsApp group. Thank you children.